Video 25, Convection. How illegality causes a flow of bad capital investment that corrupts the economy. Convection, analogous to the way energy is transferred inside stars by a stream of matter flowing around transferring a quality, energy or heat, throughout the star, is here used as a metaphor of how the drug racket's bad values are spread by its bad surplus capital flowing around an economy, also transferring a quality, here badness or criminality. We have seen how illegalization, by one, creating monopoly-rich drug lords, and then two, denying these drug lords access to legal arbitration, sort of forces them to create an army of private law enforcers in readiness to settle disputes, often by means of so-called systemic violence. We have seen how differences in absolute size of such private law enforcements creates barriers to entry that makes it difficult for new wannabe drug lords to gain access to the lucrative drug markets, and how this causes reduced competition, cornering, and the possibility of great monopoly surpluses. Such surpluses can be dug down in the garden or locked away in a vault. Of course they can, but who wants to do that with money that could gain lots of interest and makes oneself even more rich and powerful? There are three ways in which illegalization, in creating big drug surpluses by means of what is here called convection, corrupts the economy. Convection effect 1. Since illegalization ensures that most of the drug trade's profits remain untaxed, and since most drug lords will desist from trying to expand their drug turfs, as this can cause all sorts of trouble, many drug lords with surpluses will look for investments in other branches where the color of their money is of no importance. Other illegal high-profit branches, as sex services, gambling, alcohol, tobacco smuggling, people trafficking, etc., come to mind, and that is where some of the surpluses will go, plus, of course, in the drug business. So, illegality produces an economic reason for the illegal part of the economy to grow faster. That is convection effect number 1. Convection effect 2. However, such other illegal high-profit turf tends to be nearly as vigorously defended as drug turf, and if a drug lord attempts to expand into such a turf, he or she could well face repercussions directed towards not only his or her persona and new business venture, but also towards his or her already existing drug business, and thus the surplus owner's drug enterprise could easily become a hostage in a dangerous tit-for-tat game. The cautious drug lord's opportunity for reinvestment in other illegal high-profit activities thus tend to be somewhat limited. Next on the drug lord's investment list follow the twilight branches, where the color of money has some but yet limited importance. We are talking about branches such as casinos, restaurants, holidays, hotels, constructions, etc. And that's where much of the surpluses tend to go, and it goes there often not so much in order to grow as in order to get laundered, and it is thus no wonder that most of these branches have expanded a lot during the last decade. So, illegality produces an economic reason for the expansion of twilight branches. That is convection effect 2. Convection effect 3. Unfortunately, there's more to convection than investment in crooked and semi-crooked markets. Much more, because the twilight option, though not as fraught with danger and competitive as the other truly illegal high-profit branches, is still a pretty tough one. And whatever remained of the surpluses, once one's twilight quota has been filled, will have to be invested in the form of laundered, or at least semi-laundered money, in what is thought of as legal branches of the economy. This is not a problem. They can use some venture capital, I can hear you think. I don't agree. I think it could well be the main reason why great surpluses float around the world, creating bubbles rather than getting invested in anything useful. I think it could well be the reason that life to many is becoming a less enjoyable project. I think it is the greatest and most unrecognized of all illegality problems. That is because the passage through life that a drug lord or similar has had will cause him or her not to accept the traditional rules and values of the branch he or she invests in. Rather, he or she, as he or she invests in a legal market, not only facilitates future such-like investments, but also imposes the morality that he or she has acquired by his or her passage through life onto the markets. I want every imaginable form of preferential treatment, legal or illegal, and if I get it, I will pay you $1 million every month. However, if you let me down, I will make your life a misery, and if in doing so I shall fail to make you choose to kill yourself, a possibility I deem very unlikely, then I will provide that free of charge, after first having provided the very same service for your loved ones. Something like this, whether in plain speak or not, is what a portfolio manager might very well be told by a drug lord client. And that's also sort of the message, the threat that the portfolio manager will pass along those next in line, those that takes responsible for this capital, and so on. And the greater the surpluses of such individuals become, whether drug lords or not, and the more successful these surpluses become in accruing interest, the greater the collective influence of illegality's criminal lords on the economies will become. This is the third convective immorality effect. Illegality produces an economic reason for drug money to corrupt previously uncorrupted markets, facilitate future investments of bad money, create bubbles and reduce the share of all money that gets invested in the real economy. That's my conviction and that's my convection. And as this is an important issue to me, and as you may not have heard all that much about it before, I will give you the opportunity to watch a longer version, a version close to that presented in my book, Drug Policy Madness. However, if you got it all and do not want to listen to that, you could move on to video 27, where the concept of conduction will be introduced. The next video is a longer version of this one, presenting the phenomenon of convection in a narrative shape. It is the fictitious story of a drug lord's passage through the second part of his life, emphasizing the convection-related consequence of illegality